Hello viewers, last video we created an Azure database and then opened that database in Visual Studio so that we could manipulate it in Visual Studio. So let's continue this. As you can see in the SQL Server Object Explorer, if I quit clicking things, as you can see in the SQL Server Object Explorer, we have our database here. I've moved the Solution Explorer over a little bit so we can better see the drop downs as I open them. What we're going to do now is create a database project, and a database project is really useful because you can put all your database actions in one location so all your developers can get it. It's going to be in your solution, so it's source controlled. You can automate publishing and deployment, which is really important. So let's see how to do that. We simply right click on our database and say create new project. It asks you to give it a name, so I'm going to give it the clever name database 1, and now it goes through a whole bunch of stuff, so we will speed through this. Done. Now we have a database project. Now that we have this database project, let's add a table to it. What I'm going to do is, just for organizational, you don't have to do this, but it's nice to organize things, I'm going to create a tables folder. And within this tables folder, I'm going to add a, you guessed it, table. So my vision here is to have a table that has all the states and their abbreviations so that you can create a drop-down list for some application where you need the user to tell you what state they're in. So I will call this table I'll just call it states. And we'll add it. It opens up this, I don't know what you'd call it, some sort of visual tool that allows you to create the fields and all the things that go with tables if you want. What I've done is I've already created the create statement, so I'm just going to paste it in there to speed things along. So you can see that we're creating a table called states, and we have the primary key, and it's going to automatically increment that by 1, starting at 1. We have a state name. Now states don't have 100 characters. It doesn't hurt it to leave it at 100. It just means you're going to have a lot of wasted space. I think the largest name is North Carolina, so we'll say 14, with the expectation that we don't get any more states in the United States. Bold statement, but it's good for now. The second thing we wanted to do was to create a script that would insert all the states and their abbreviations into this table. For organizational reasons, I'll create a folder called scripts, and then within this table I will add, you guessed it, a script. Now this is kind of interesting. They have build scripts and not in build scripts. We want to select not in build scripts. And there's a reason for this. A build script has to do more with the data definition language, DDL, where you create and define the structures in your database. Since we're doing an insert statement, that's more of the DML, the data manipulation language. That's things like insert statements. If you try to use the build script with an insert statement, then Visual Studio's IntelliSense is not going to like that. Oh, that's another good reason to use a database project. You get IntelliSense with it. So we're going to go with not in build, and we'll call this script insert states, and we'll add that. And once again, I've already created this insert states script so that you don't have to watch me type in 50 states. So let me grab that. So here's the script. You say, Tom, you said it was an insert statement. Why does it say merge? Well, every time we publish this, this is going to be part of our post deployment. So deployment is putting the table in, and then after the table's in, we want to do the post deployment scripts. This will be the post deployment. So if we deploy more than once, we don't want to insert more than once, right? So we're going to use this merge statement that's going to double check to make sure these values aren't already there. If they're already there, it's just going to ignore them. It's going to be post-deployment, because if we did pre-deployment, we try to insert into a table that didn't exist, and who wants that? So let me now, so in order to do the post-deployment, we need a post-deployment script. And I will add a new script, and that script will be called post-deployment. And I'm just going to leave it with that name. Now we just follow the syntax here. So any script that we want to run after the deployment's done, we would put here. You could have 20 scripts if you wanted to. We have to give it the correct name, the correct path rather. So my path is to scripts, and then insert states. And we're going to build, and we're going to see that we have a problem. And the problem is this really weird statement, on value, the value on for property, blah, 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 was not valid. I got to tell you, I don't quite understand this, but I do know how to fix it. So let's go fix it. To fix this message that we saw in Visual Studio when we built, we need to go to the database SQL project file, which I know is a lot of nonsense. And once we're here, we have to find the offending property. So we will search, and we'll find it was temporal history retention enabled. It had a problem with the fact that this was set to on. We want it set to off. No, that would make too much sense. We want it set to false. Once again, I don't know why. Save that. Now, when we return to our project lets us know that something changed outside of its control. That was us setting it to false. Would we like to reload it? And yes, we would like to reload it. And now with that change, we should be able to build it. And we did. You see these red squiggly lines. I don't know why they're there. Visual Studio is confused, but we should be good to go. So now we should be ready to publish it. We select our database. We select publish. That's old. We don't want that. Let's test the connection here. It failed. So that's okay. That just means we gotta log in. Oh, we don't have the password here. Let me check my yellow sticky note. There, I'll click this box, hope it works this time. Let's test the connection. Good, we're able to log in. So now let's publish. We can see the publish activities going on here. What we expect to see is the tables created and then populated with those values. Okay, it says publish completed successfully. If we go to our SQL Server Object Explorer and refresh, we should see our new table. And there it is. Had me scared for a second, but there it is. And if we select this, we should be able to view the data, view data. And look, all the data that we wanted has been put in there. So that was a longer than expected demo of how to create a database project, why a database project is useful, how to use that database project to create a table and then populate it with data. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you soon.